Base jumping is one of the world's most extreme and deadliest activities. Until recently, the sport has been practiced outside of the public eye by pioneering thrill seekers, without rules or regulations. But now a new breed of jumpers is trying to take the sport mainstream with a professional world tour. Base jumping is the sport of parachuting from a fixed object, not a flying one. It's a young sport and has rapidly evolved from jumping off cliffs and buildings in your jeans to flying at 250 kilometers an hour in space-age wingsuits. Now, the sport is trying to go pro with a 5-leg ProBase World Tour. With a total of €100,000 prize money on offer, the ProBase competition is going to be fierce as the best of the best battle it out. Norway hosts 2 legs of the tour. At Chirag for the world's first ever U-turn event, where pilots will fly over a marker, execute a radical U-turn, and then sprint for the finish line. And then Innfjorden for the prestigious world-based race, a head-to-head drag race at full speed from start to finish. The tour then moves to Wallenstadt in Switzerland for another world first, as pilots take part in the tour's inaugural wingsuiting slalom event, testing skill, maneuverability and speed. The grand finale will take place from the cliffs of the Lauterbrunnen Valley, with the final head-to-head races determining the ProBase World Tour winner. For now, the world's top base jumpers are gathering in Istanbul to test their skills in an urban environment. Istanbul is the only city in the world that falls on 2 continents. Straddling the Bosporus Strait, it forms part of both Europe and Asia. It's one of the world's biggest cities, and its strategic position on the Silk Route has made it a meeting place for traders and cultures across the ages. In the 20th century, the city is a bustling mix of old and new, where ancient mosques and modern skyscrapers vie for space on the skyline, while people from around the globe throng the sidewalks. The Istanbul Showdown is the only non-wingsuiting event on the tour. This is an accuracy landing competition, with judges scoring pilots on good exits from the building and pinpoint landings, essential skills for all base jumpers. Entry to ProBase contests is strictly controlled, with only the world's most experienced athletes allowed to compete. The road to becoming a base jumper is a long one. Before even attempting a base jump, one first needs to be an experienced skydiver, with at least a couple of hundred jumps from a plane. Many skydivers will then complete a base jumping course before starting jumping, first in normal clothes and then in baggy tracking suits. To progress to wingsuiting, a jumper returns to skydiving and wingsuit skydives until they are in complete control before attempting their first base wingsuit. This progression takes years of hard work and dedication to complete safely. This year's tour is going to be the most competitive base jumping tour ever. Last year's winner, Norwegian Espen Fadnes, is back to defend his title, but there are plenty of skilled pilots looking to steal his crown. South African Julian Boole epitomises the new breed of sponsored professional wingsuiter, well equipped and well prepared, and is definitely a man to watch out for. Australian legend Chris Doogs McDougall takes a more relaxed approach to competition. He's an old school jumper, but with many years of competitive experience, Doogs should never be underestimated. Major Alistair McCartney is a jumper with a purpose. He is the team leader of Jump for Heroes and uses the competitions to raise the profile of his organisation that raises funds for wounded British war vets. The oldest competitor on the tour is 60-year-old Tony Uragallo. Tony's been base jumping for only 4 years, but has 40 years of skydiving experience. He won the World Base Race in 2012 and is considered by many to be the fastest man in a wingsuit. The fastest lady in a wingsuit, Ellen Brennan, will also be competing. Apart from dominating the ladies' events, this year she's aiming to give the guys a run for their money and claim a podium spot in the main event. Another athlete keen to improve on past performances is Norwegian Tom Erik Hyman. He's made it to the podium in past ProBase competitions, but has never won an event. Tom Erik is desperate to get a first-place finish this year and would love to open his season with a win from the only building jump on the tour.
What I really enjoy by buildings is that you're in the city, you're in the middle of it, and everything is like floating in the city, but on top of the building everything is quiet.
The unique thing about a building is really that generally, you're immersed in a city centre. You can be in the mountains, it can be peaceful. If you're jumping on your own, there could be no one around you. You can just be at one, you are so peaceful. Here on the buildings, the wind swirling around, it's changing directions. You might have a steady wind forecast, but the turbulence, as it comes around the different buildings at different heights, as it swirls around, even at different height levels, it can be going in different directions. That's a real problem for us because, if things don't go right, they can go really badly wrong.
The unique thing with base jumping is that it's like a wave. Everything has its own character, and you need to embrace that character of the object's not going to change, you've got to change to the object, and you've got to become more at one with every object that you jump from.
In recent years, new digital camera technology and internet accessibility have taken the sport of base jumping to an ever-broadening audience, which in turn has attracted money and sponsors and led to the establishment of the ProBase World Tour. This year, the competition heats up with more prize money on offer than ever before. There's a total of €100,000 to be won, with the winner of each of the 5 events pocketing €10,000 and a chance to claim the world title at the end of the season. This new professional aspect of the sport is in stark contrast to its underground and often outlawed roots. And events like the Istanbul Showdown allow jumpers to throw themselves off buildings without the added risk of being arrested.
I've done a lot of buildings, and a lot of buildings in the city. This building's great because there's no sneaking around, there's just come up here and it's good fun.
Illicit building jumps have always had a special allure for a certain type of base jumper. For them, half the thrill involves slipping past security, sneaking up flights of stairs, jumping out into the night sky and racing away before law enforcement arrives. The important thing for these jumpers is to raise as little publicity as possible so as not to burn the location for other jumpers. For these reasons, illicit building jumps usually happen at night and often from buildings still under construction, while security is weaker. In a post-9/11 world, building security is tougher and the consequences of getting caught more serious. Still, in major cities around the world, underground jumpers continue to find their way onto rooftops and hurl themselves at the empty streets below. Now the ProBase World Tour gives the world's top base jumpers the opportunity to jump from Istanbul's second tallest skyscraper in broad daylight.
What? They're letting us jump off the Sapphire Tower, 700-foot building? Game on, you know. Yes, please. The Sapphire Tower is gorgeous. It's a beautiful building. It's super sheer, straight up and down. And we're looking at about 700 feet. It's really pretty. It's got the nice little ramp at the bottom. It's a beautiful building.
The view up there, you can see 360, whole Istanbul. You can see Asia, Europe.
This one in particular, I really like. I love looking down when you see the view of all the glass.
The building itself, it's super tall, which makes it safer. And being straight up and down, you can get away from it, you know. The landing area. It's a big, wide open bus parking lot. Granted, there are cranes kind of swinging over the parking lot. You have to kind of pay attention to the cranes swinging over. If you land out far to the right, there's a big ditch with rebar sticking up, you know, where they're gonna build another building. And there's horses down there sometimes. I guess the gypsies park their horses there and that kind of deal. You got the busy highway over here. You don't want to land in the street and get run over. No one sees a parachute come down there looking at the road and boom, boom, you know, that's how that one's gonna go. I don't know, you know, how exactly the permission slip got handed out to us, but God bless you, because this is an amazing thing. It's a really special thing to be able to jump from this tower.
It is certainly very hectic to get permission for buildings. It is very tricky because normally you do need permission from several parties, not only the building owners, but also you need a landing permit. In some countries you need permits from air traffic control, depending on laws of each country. And good political connections or connections to some kind of ministry like they had here, to the Ministry of Culture, is definitely a big help.
What I will do is I will do a call up tomorrow morning and see there's, I think, 2 or 3 guys who have canceled. So there's a couple slots available for anybody who wants to enter. That's the first thing. We lay out the carpet as kind of like a runway for the jumpers.
Hubert Schober and his team have been organising this event for months, arranging permissions and coordinating between building owner, city council and local law enforcement. Now it's all coming together, but throwing 60 people off a building in the centre of a bustling city is an inherently risky undertaking. And trying to organise base jumpers, no easy task. There's a lot that could still go wrong.
Base jump events have been around for at least 10 years. And I think what we've created here is a format that really appeals to people, that really brings the best people out, and it brings out, you know, the competitiveness. I think it's certainly lifted the sport itself and also attracts the best talent in the community.
We're cruising. 2, 3, 4.
One of the best-known characters in the world of base jumping today is Australian Chris Doogs McDougall. Doogs is an all-round adrenaline junkie with over 7,000 skydives and 2,600 base jumps to his name. With 15 years of base jumping experience, Doogs is arguably the world's top all-round base jumper and is a top contender for the Istanbul showdown.
It started out as an adrenaline rush because I get really freaking scared of everything I do. But now it's just become life, I guess. Myself and my best friend Wildman started skydiving. We're young, we're really excited, and really just we're all about having fun. And so we got straight into the underground, which was awesome because it's changed now. Bonjour! Hello! We didn't fit into society. But we knew this is us, this is where we want to be, and so We embraced all that, and that's what took us everywhere. When I first did a skydive, that was just one jump. That's all I planned to do. And then that changed my life, unbelievable. And then when I had the opportunity to do a base jump, it was like an illegal one into water in the dark with gear that didn't matter. You couldn't understand your brakes or anything like that. And I'm just there by myself, but the other guys were all in their group. I'm just this like young 20-year-old kid, just scared and nervous. But I still remember that feeling of when I jumped off. And even looking back at see the style of when I jumped, nothing's changed at all from then in that respect, you know.
You ready? Ready? Go!
And then once I realised how awesome that was, I waited till I had 200 skydivers. We trained hard to practice for base jumping, got our own parachute system and started from there. And my life's been unbelievable ever since.
The ProBase World Tour brings together athletes from all walks of life. Another top contender for the Istanbul showdown is Major Alistair McCartney, a base jumper with a cause.
I'm the team leader of Jump for Heroes. Jump for Heroes are the Royal British Legion Extreme Human Flight Team. We try and raise awareness for the British Legion and the fantastic work that they do for our troops. They give out about £1.6 million of aid per week, and we just try to raise awareness for the charity and what they do by doing some, outrageous, extreme stunts, and this gets the public to really understand that the charity's there, and for the people that need support from the charity to help make them know that the charity is there for them as well.
And I dive down at that rock face just inches from it. I go through some...
Alistair spends much of his time as a motivational speaker, using his life experiences to inspire people to greater heights in theirs.
You can all do something in your own special and unique way.
With his military background, Alistair has the discipline and training that it takes to win in this high-stakes game.
I'm nervous on a certain level, obviously. I'm working at, 100 miles a minute in my head. But I'm really excited, and I'm really obviously hoping that we've put together another great event, that people will enjoy themselves. I obviously hope that everything goes well. That's always the most important thing.
Hey, this landing area looks good this year, actually.
Well, I think I'm ready to get started. I'm ready to get the show rolling.
This direction to jump at the moment is the better one, but you decide for yourself. Everybody can do one warm-up jump just to get, that first kick of adrenaline out of the system. Wear your helmets, wear your protection. The landing area is hard, kind of like, gravel.
Preparing for a jump, it might look blasé on camera and this and that, but mentally inside, it's pretty full on. You check the weather, obviously. You make sure your gear's right. You know you've packed good. You're feeling good. Your mind's good. It's clear. Black humor's a huge one. Yeah, so you always have black humor with your friends and just like, what are we doing? How stupid are we? A lot of dark humor, but base jumpers understand that. And then the only thing you have to be scared of is fear itself. And that's the one you overcome personally. If you can't overcome that, then you walk away. If you can overcome that, then you jump. It's not about balls or any of that shit, it's about knowledge. If you do a lot of jumps off one object, you've got to really respect the fact that that's still a solid object, Don't get complacent, treat it with respect, and it will respect you. Especially with different buildings in urban environments, they're the ones you really got to look out for. And, it's a serious sport, it's not table tennis. We can die.
Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit.
here.
It's good to have a little sense of fear all the time. It sharpens your head.
Most people here are pretty, experienced jumpers, they're experts in what they do. They pretty much have that intermediate skill to open on heading.
Now we are ready to go. Sit.
The winds in Istanbul can make base jumping tricky, but the weather for the first day of competition is ideal. The organisers and athletes are equally keen to get proceedings underway. Two of the world's most experienced jumpers are first to exit. Last year's winner, Miles Dasher, opens the event, followed closely by the ever-keen Chris Dukes McDougall.
Yeah, it's good. It's really scary on top. Like when you're one of the first group, it's always scary, even if you've done it before. So a lot of anticipation, but then, just run as hard as I can, get as far away from the building, and once you're in free fall, it's all good again. So, and then under canopy, there's a big crane coming out, and that's pretty intense, but the winds are light and variable and hit the target spot on, so super happy, good preparation.
The jumpers are being scored on 3 main factors or categories. One is free fall delay. So once they exit the building, they have to be in free fall anywhere between 2 and 3.5 seconds. Within that time span, they have to open their parachute. The next category is the opening direction of the parachute, which means if the parachute opens straight as their body faces, that's a perfect opening with 0 deductions. Any off-heading, as we call it, to either side will have points deducted. And then the main part of the score is the actual accuracy landing. They have to land on a 10-meter in diameter circle. The closer to the center you can land, the higher your score will be. And then the overall score is made up out of those 3 details, basically.
One of the more dangerous things I think about the landing area here is the kids.
It's difficult to handle if, only 2 judges on the ground. It's crazy to control these child. So we try to do our best, but it's difficult to handle these many kids and people around.
They just swarm you when you land. They're standing on your gear. They don't get it that parachute's gonna save your life. They're like, hey, high five, high five. I'm like, dude, I'm standing on my life-saving gear.
No high five. No high five. Hey, get off my
No, the kids love it, and we're putting on a great show here for the people in Istanbul, and they're loving it. We're getting big crowds, in the afternoons when everyone's got time to come see it.
Fortunately, no injury yet.
Hey, watch out the lines, man, please, come on.
The scoring system was designed basically on safety when the sport of base jumping became competitive. Everything around it is designed for safety. Anywhere between 2 to 3 seconds is simply the safest delay.
It is now landing ready.
Also, the opening is very important because off-headings, especially off-headings backwards, 180s, are extremely dangerous because you will strike the object behind you. Obviously, the jumpers have to be able to control their heading performance on their canopies. They have to know how to pack correctly to get good headings. They have to keep the body position straight to get a good heading. And they also have to respect, obviously, the conditions, which is another factor that can influence. And the third is the target landing, also very typical for base, or very natural for base, because normally you have very tight landing areas, so you actually have to be able to land your canopy in a very, very small spot. And the higher your skill, the less your chance to get injured in that sport.
Why I don't play golf or tennis?
Okay, next jumper.
After a great first day of jumping with both practice round and first round completed, organisers and jumpers are stoked, and everybody's feeling a bit more relaxed.
According to the forecast, it is probably going to get windy and non-jumpable possibly through Friday, which we have to sort of take, as it comes.
With wind forecast for the rest of the competition, organisers pushed hard and managed to complete the first round. In last year's event, Justine Eads placed 4th, and this year, after round 1, there are 3 ladies in the top 20, giving the guys a run for their money.
But I had an off-hitting, you didn't. You took the right decision by going further.
After round 1, it's Englishman Alistair McCartney, first with the highest score of the day, followed closely by a 3-way tie for second place between Sebastian Einecker from Germany, Jason Maletsky of Canada, and American Miles Dasher.
Pretty much what I base my life on is flying parachutes and flying through the air. It's the most fun thing that I've found you can do on the planet. From day one, September 6, 1995, I made my first skydive, and it was just hook, line, and sinker from there, you know. I just quit my job, moved out, and lived in a tent for a few years and started skydiving, packing parachutes for food and jump money, and it kind of evolved from there. My father was a pilot in the Air Force, and I didn't go military myself. I just went full civilian jumper style. To me, it's kind of my spirit world, you know, where I could like hike up the top of a mountain and like, look at all the air out there. I'm gonna go put myself into that, and I can safely get from here to there, and I'm gonna step off, I'm gonna fly my body, I'm gonna feel the air just and track out, open up a parachute, and that's when the carnival music goes off for me, and that's when I'm just like, woo, yeah, that was awesome. Playing with Legos as a kid, you know, just like having that creative imagination and like, I want to fly right next to the wall, you know, with my X-Fighter. And now I'm in my Apache Rebel, just like hair on fire, just, you know, jumping off a cliff and just ripping down this cliff face and just, it's just so much fun, you know? And like I'm accomplishing things that I've dreamt of when I was a child. So competition, yes, please, let's do this. Let's fire it up.
Base jumping evolved in the shadows of society, and for many, the limelight of the media and rules of competition signal a loss of freedom in the sport.
One of the really fantastic things that lots of people like about base jumping is it's unregulated. You can put a rig on, you can go and jump off something, and you can have no training if you want to. You might not do it for much longer, but they like the fact that it's unregulated. They can do what they want, when they want. Competing, does it take some of that freedom away? Perhaps not. I think in society there is a democratic process, whether we like it or not. Even with what we see as true freedom, you're not completely free. To live with one another, we have to have a principle, a life code that you have to live by, and in competition the only way we can possibly do that is to have a set of rules. It's a way we can be fair, to push us forward, to push our sport forward, and therefore to push our ability to fly and our ability to be free by doing that. So competition really isn't stifling the freedom that we've got from base jumping, it's actually helping advance it.
I think competition can be useful for making people get better and making you try very hard to do your best. But at the same time, it can be a little less fun, especially if some people are very upset because they lost. That can take some of the fun out of it, I think. So it's nice here, though, they give you a choice. I like that about this event.
Competitions have been going on in base jumping for a long, long time, but there's never prize money in it until basically now. So this is the first year I've seen a shift for real. But competitions were always good fun and camaraderie, and they still are now. But money, it's a classic human nature of greed. All of a sudden, the experienced guys have got a chance to feed their families and represent themselves without having to bust their balls at a normal job. So it's definitely changed things. And a lot of the big sponsor guys now from skydiving are shifting into base jumping purely because they're very good at what needs to be won in a competition for base jumping. And that's a shift we're going to see more of. So all the little people that brought base jumping competitions to where they are now are going to get weeded out very, very quickly. And I feel myself included. I don't have the sponsorship to train like I would like to and things like that, so I've really got to put my A game on just to try and stay with it.
I really like to compete. That makes you perform better. You're also getting a little bit nervous because you want to perform the best. I think this will help to lift the sport, but I think there is a long way to go. People in the sport, they need to be more professional. They need to act like athletes if you want this sport to be grow and taken seriously.
I think the sport is just in the right stage of development, and I think what we've created here is a format that really appeals to people, a format that is attractive, that really brings the best people out. It brings out, you know, the competitiveness, and really I think we're on the verge right now of converting the sport from a novelty discipline into actually a competitive sporting discipline.
A small change in wind conditions can radically affect the safety of any jump, and the organisers of a competitive base event are always completely at the mercy of Mother Nature.
Wind and weather is the single most important factor when it comes to base jumping, whether it's an event or, you know, just a jump for yourself. So you absolutely have to schedule yourself around these conditions.
That corner we jumped yesterday, that's exactly where the wind comes from. So it's head on, it's pretty strong. So it's supposed to change the direction until 12, that's what the forecast says. But if you want to go somewhere, don't go too far. You can go downstairs if you want, but be back by, let's say, 10:45 latest.
The wind on buildings isn't a good idea. So we really need below 5-mile-an-hour winds ideally, and it hasn't been that. It's been blowing a gale. So we've been sat here waiting, looking over the edge, hoping, praying, and then hopefully it will clear off in at least an hour, hopefully.
We're holding off for the time being. The wind is meant to switch, and hopefully when it switches between 9 and 12, it's not too heavy and we can get at least one round in. But after that, it's meant to get really stormy, really nasty. So we're going to have probably a full one-day weather hold. No big deal. This is a big part of base jumping, so we just got to deal with it and try and relax and not get too drunk.
It is what it is. You know, we can't do anything about it. It's not fun sitting around, but you know, it's what we've got to do. You know, the weather is what the weather is.
Well, we got a steady 21, 22 knots of winds. It's actually gotten worse from our last reading an hour ago. This means that there's definitely no jumping because it's coming from the worst possible direction. Furthermore, we got gusts up to 31 now. So it looks like there's a storm hitting or something, weather system moving in. We'll certainly, you know, keep monitoring the winds throughout the day, but it doesn't look like it actually.
By evening, the worst of the storm had passed. The rain clouds cleared and the sun came out. But the wind continued to blow, so jumpers took the chance to catch up with old friends.
Istanbul, crowded and a lot of nice people to see, so yeah, I like the variations. I like to travel, see, meet people.
The thing that I do miss, actually, if I go a long time without jumping, is I miss my friends. The people are making me very happy. I enjoy hanging out with the people very much.
You know, we're all basically a big family that come to these events. We don't always get to see each other that often, you know, so we come to these events and we get to meet up with old friends and make new friends all the time.
I'm just happy to jump off and live and have a beer with my friends. And it's awesome. Very, very social.
Yeah. We are not drinking, no.
We play hard and we party hard.
The next day, the wind was still blowing, and again, athletes had to find alternative ways to burn off steam. A base jumper needs to be in good condition to reach the mountaintops they often hike to, and the new breed of base jumper trains hard like any other professional athlete. In spite of this, the broader public still tend to view them as freaks with a death wish.
I don't care about whoever built this building and go launch off of it. Yeah, I just need my fix, you know? I'm adrenaline junkie. Get out of my way.
A lot of people, they don't like it or they think we're crazy.
Base jumpers, they are crazy, no?
Yeah, you're crazy.
A lot of people have this idea that base jumpers are just the crazy guys who don't give a crap about the law. They don't care. And I don't think that's necessarily true. You know, it's definitely not true for me. I know there's a few people out there that that's what they're all about, you know? Different strokes for different folks.
Base jumping is totally outlawed in Australia and banned or severely restricted in many other countries around the world. Not being able to practice his sport at home made Dukes realise how important the support of officials and the public can be. With this in mind, he's become a base ambassador and recently opened Kuwait up to base jumping in the best possible way.
Basically, I got to go to Kuwait and in front of 5,000 Muslim people and a hell of a lot of people on TV and radio and newspapers and everything. Actually got to do a couple of base jumps in a legal and safe way. And now in a country, all of a sudden, base jumping's okay. It's actually a legitimate, safe sport from day one. Whereas like Australia and America, we're still renegades, we're still, you know, and we're our own worst enemy. We made the bad decisions early on that we're paying for now.
Excellent. Way different to Australia, ladies and gentlemen, way different.
Something nice to start a country off on the right foot, you know. Can't do it in my own. So I may as well go somewhere where we're appreciated, you know. And it was really good. I mean, 2.5 hours of photos with the police chiefs, the sheiks, the sultans, the kids, you know, like it was just incredible. And you know, the police were shaking my hand, not cuffing me. So it's good. I like that.
Well, I think base jumpers are people who definitely like to experience the life to the maximum. But when you actually get to know the scene and know the people, you will find that they're very, very highly skilled, that they are certainly not crazy, although they do like to push the limits, but they're extremely cautious, they're extremely careful, they calculate everything to the T, and they will respect their limits, they will respect everything that surrounds the sport very, very rigorously.
I come from sport. I've developed my ability of understanding threats or dangers. All the time since I was a kid, I've been pushing limits, but I have never broken a bone in my body. I've never stepped off the edge in base jumping if I'm not certain that I am the person who should do it right now.
It's not about balls or anything like that shit, it's about knowledge. It's about knowledge and understanding and, you know, the whole jar of skill, jar of luck thing. With base jumping, for myself especially, it's all about risk management. and minimalising your risk and staying alive and being safe, you know.
To me, it's not about doing illegal stuff and being the danger guy, and like, look at me, I'm a dangerous dude, I can sneak in here. Not at all. To me, it's a sport.
That's one of the reasons I like jumping in Asia so much. It's very strange. In America, most people assume you're crazy if you're base jumping. They don't really respect it as a sport so much. And I don't know why. I don't know what's different about Asia, but they fully understand that it's a sport and that we train a lot and they respect it there. You see when the wind blows, it goes like very nice.
You are not jumping in a skirt, Amanda.
American Amanda Vicarelli treats her base jumping more as a performance art than a competitive sport, and is renowned both for her extravagant outfits and for her graceful exits.
When I first started base jumping, I was so into it and so excited about it that I wanted to recruit everyone. I thought everyone should do it. This thing is so wonderful that you all have to try it. And I didn't have much luck with that, since come to see that it's maybe not for everyone. So now my approach is I want to show people a little bit of what I feel, and I think it's possible to do that. I want to make it into more of a performance. And you don't necessarily have to do tricks for that to work. Sometimes even if I just do a very simple jump, but do it very smoothly and very gracefully, it can move people. And so that's what I'm going for. For almost 2 years now, I've been training circus because I want to bring the circus to base jumping. It is similar to base jumping in that people are very nice and they're very passionate about it and they're willing to work very hard towards similar goals, and they're all very helpful, and yeah, I'm having a very good time with that as well.
You paid attention. I don't even know what I did.
Well, so far I've only done a few handstands, but that's pretty exciting because I'm not that good at handstands, so I actually think it's more scary to do a handstand just on the ground than on the edge of a cliff, because if I fall off a cliff, I land on the air, and the air is soft. But I'm very close to being able to do it indoors. And there's a lot of things I could do, but I'm not quite there yet. I'm going to train for another year, and then I will be done. We'll see what I can do after that. I did a lot of jumps by myself in the beginning, so I didn't have a mentor in the traditional sense. It is different jumping alone, and I like it both alone and with other people. I've heard some people say that they get bored if they do the same jump over and over again, but I have some jumps I do back home that I'll jump by myself in the exact same way every time, and it's almost like a meditative thing where if I try and make the jump exactly the same and jump at the same time of day and take the same delay and fly the same canopy path, it's never exactly the same twice. And so in those little differences, I learn a lot.
The last day of competition was turning into another frustrating day, waiting for the wind to drop. And as the day dragged on, the pressure on Hubert to get another round in was mounting.
Right now, we were like spitting off the ledge and watching the wind just go boom, and the spit wasn't even going down. It was just going straight sideways.
It looks like in the afternoon it's definitely going to slow down. We hope it slows down enough for us to safely do a couple jumps. From like 12 o'clock on, the winds are supposed to drop to 5 or 6 knots, which would be perfectly fine for us. As soon as it drops below 10, we actually going to get going because the wind direction is not bad. It's good the way it is going at the moment. So we're certainly hoping that the weather predictions come through.
In the late afternoon, the wind eventually backs off, but conditions are still unpredictable. Miles Dasher and Ukrainian jumper Oleg volunteered to test conditions.
This is what Miles does. He's a test jumper. He always jumps in variable conditions, and he's good enough to do it. No worries at all, you know. Some of the people following might not follow him with the same knowledge and experience, but base jumping is a lot about common sense, and I think common sense will prevail because at the end of the day it is windy, and it'd be really sad for someone to get hurt jumping in the final stages of the competition and miss out on the rest of the competitions.
All right. Seriously, it's not that good right now. Look at that thing. You just kind of look at the top flag. I don't really think it's fair to have a competition right now in these conditions, but it might get awesome. So like I said, let's start getting the wheels in motion. And
With the last minutes of the permission permit ticking away and only one round run, Hubert is looking understandably nervous.
Yeah, they're definitely gusty, and there's. I'm just trying to figure out how everybody feels, because some people do want to go, some people did say they wanted to start, so...
The wind has dropped, but it's still on the borderline of safe, and opinions are sharply divided over whether or not to continue.
The guys have been waiting the whole day. 3 days, actually. Yeah, so I don't see any reason to call off the competition.
I think if you really are hungry for a jump, follow that flag and go get one, but right now it's not safe for everybody.
This is where it's tricky with the competition stuff now, because your gut says no and your pocket says yes.
Okay, let's do it. Let's get on it, though. We have 20 minutes.
So here we go. Here's the game changer. There's quite a few of us that come from world championship skydiving backgrounds, and we know world competition. So we know the tactics involved, and it came out.
Dude, there's a whole bunch lining up right now, so...
And you've got people that making a stand, you know, but were they really making a stand? Was it just a tactic? If that guy went and he got the 10,000 euros because of that, and we didn't go, we'd be like, it's interesting. Yeah, it's a game of chess, but for life. And I love it. And the top guys love it too. You know, it's a big part of it.
Tricky conditions, but you got to do what you got to do.
We don't want to force anyone. I just personally think that the condition is not that bad to not to do the jump. Obviously, it's more difficult to do precision landing, but these guys are the best base jumpers in the world. They could easily do it.
With half the competitors willing to jump, Hubert decides to try to get the second round of competition in. But there isn't much time left, and it's going to be tight.
Okay, guys, it's 8 o'clock. We gotta cut it off. Sorry, no more. We gotta cut it off. It's 8 o'clock.
The jumping permit expires at 8 o'clock, and with less than half of the second round completed, Hubert has no option but to call an end to the contest, with only one round of competition completed in 5 days.
It was quite interesting to see that obviously the people up front in the top 10 lobbied hard against the others not to go, and they used, you know, strategies as, oh, it's dangerous, it's windy, it's this and that, to obviously protect their top spot. Now that big money is involved, obviously there's a lot more coming into play than just the pure joy of jumping or pure safety concern.
With the second round incomplete, the first round results are all that matters, and Alistair McCartney pockets the 10,000 euros as winner of the Istanbul showdown.
I think people who had done well in the competition tended to be the more experienced people. And when you have the more experienced people saying these conditions aren't good or safe to jump in, they are marginal, then you've got the experienced people saying these conditions aren't right. So that's true, but there are people in the top 10, so not going to get a medal could potentially advance up the rankings that were also not jumping. So it was more about the safety of the competition than anything else. So as a result, I've won, but it's kind of a pretty bad way to win. I won by not jumping by that round, not completing. So obviously it's fantastic that I've won, but not a great way to win.
Number 1 is the Alistair McCartney.
You just look around at all these jumpers that are here today, and you just see that, you know, all the friendships and the bonds you get through the sport and coming to these events is really good, and I just want to carry on doing it.
I love doing these organized events because it helps more people see what we're about, and then when they see it, then they say, oh, they just understand that it is okay, and we are very careful, and it's a fun, happy thing.
Hopefully we dispel these myths of us being crazed lunatics, which we're not. You know, we actually, you know, we do think about what we're doing, and there's a lot more goes into it than simply just running up here and jumping off the building.
The first event on the ProBase Tour ends with only one round of jumping completed, and many of the tour's top contenders languishing on the overall rankings. At the top of the ratings, 3 jumpers split the points for second place. Last year's winner Miles Dasher of the USA, Sebastian Einicker of Germany, and Jay Maletsky of Canada. It's Englishman Alistair McCartney who claims maximum points for a win and heads to Chirag, Norway at the top of the tour. Next time on Birdmen Racing, we bring you the world's first ever U-turn wingsuiting race from Chirag, Norway.
The gate was really hard to see. You're like, am I past it now? It's 2,000 feet below me.
This race is full of thrills, spills and controversy as pilots struggle to adapt to the new format and organisers have their hands full keeping contestants on track.
I don't think the pilots who missed the corner deserve to be eliminated from the race.
Will Alistair manage to increase his narrow lead in the Chirag chaos? Or will the likes of Jay and Miles pile on the pressure to go home with the points?
Yeah, a lot of upsets today.